Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. How are you, sir?
I am good. How are you, sir?
I'm well. Alhamdulillah. Doing
It
very
is an
well.
it's an honor to meet you.
It's my pleasure. Trust me. It's my pleasure.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I sent the request day before yesterday, and I didn't expect any reply, and I got it within less than 1 hour. So I
Yes.
was happy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Well,
Uh,
it's what we do and it's what we take pleasure in doing, spreading the information as we receive it so that other people can benefit. That's what it's all about.
I listened to some of your broadcasts, some of your videos on YouTube. I heard about your website long time back, but I didn't give it too much attention for some
Hmm.
reason.
Hmm.
But then when I looked at your videos 2 days back, I was so much fascinated, and I thought this is what I'm looking for. But because they were so lengthy and I didn't have time this week, I couldn't go through them all.
Hmm.
But I skimmed through the topics, and I thought this is what I am looking exactly for. And if there is a way to uh, uh, gain from this knowledge faster, it would be great. So I thought about purchasing the book, and then I was happy to see the link of the one-to-one interview, which will help me to make a decision on which books I should read first and what's the path that I should take forward to learn
Yes.
from you.
Makes sense. Okay.
Yes. So
Well,
I did little bit of preparation here. If you
okay, go ahead. Take your time. Let me ask you
if
first
you
to
want
just
me,
to just give us your full name and where you're from and maybe whatever we need to know about you that would help at least help me to direct my information more towards your specific concerns.
yeah, sure. I am Abdullah Isa. Sorry, you will hear some noise because I am
I
with
can't
my
hear it.
kid today.
It's okay.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
better.
I'm used to that.
Okay,
I'm used to that. Yeah.
thank you. I am Abdullah Isa Al-Shuaili from Sultanate of Oman.
Oman. Okay. Great.
Oman, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You, you know Oman?
Yeah. I do. I haven't been there, but I know it. Yeah.
Okay, it's a peaceful, calm country with a very small population. Um, yeah, and we are, maybe this is related to our topic. We are from Ibadi sect, which is different than Sunni, which is different than
Hmm.
Shia. We are Ibadi sect.
Yeah.
Ibadis are very little in Oman and little in Morocco.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I will tell you what did I prepare and what's my preparation if you
Hmm.
want me to, because I have some questions. I will tell you about my beginning. How did I started uh, learning or starting this track, and then
Hmm.
you can guide me on what should I do next and what questions we can discuss.
Go right ahead.
Okay, so I am a Muslim. I pray, I do my practices normally like any other Muslim, not so devoted. I do my best. In
Hmm.
2019, I had I had a challenging meeting with one of my clients, and it was a stressful time because I was about to lose a big client, and I was under too much stress. I went to a coffee shop where they play Netflix. So
Yeah.
I played. The first thing came to in the TV was The Secrets.
Mm.
Okay, I heard about The Secret before, but I didn't give it any attention.
Yeah.
At that time, I thought, let me look at it. I watched the movie. It's 1 hour 30 minutes, and I thought there might be something behind this, and I started changing my thinking, and things started to happen to me. So I noticed that the more I look inward, the more things happens really.
Hmm.
So I thought, yeah, there is something here. That was in 2019, and then from that time till now, I am not the same. I started looking at things differently. I started learning things differently. I started
Hmm.
looking at the Quran also differently. I went studied a little bit about the new thoughts movements, because the secret law of attraction will take you to this path.
Mhm.
I read about Kabbalah, and then I saw Sufism in Islam is something very interesting. I didn't pay it any attention before. Got some books from Theosophy, but uh, I didn't like them. I don't know. I couldn't keep reading.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because some of them are against my beliefs.
Yeah.
But
Blavatsky and yeah, and
yeah,
her whole crew.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. I paid a lot for that, but I kept
Yeah.
them on.
Yeah.
Okay, so I focused on Sufism. I read a lot about it. I like philosophy. I read about philosophy, and then I started looking at Quran in a different way. There
Hmm.
is a hidden message. There is a message that we should understand it uh, in a different way, and it grabbed my attention that I think you are not a Arabic speaker, or Arabic is not your first language, right?
No, no. English.
But you brought up things that are very critical and are right, because in the tafsir, and they are using words, but they don't give the right meaning. And this happens a lot. And you pinpointed some words in the Quran which I was having the same thoughts about. So I thought, this man, he knows what he's saying, and it's true. And we share these things. I'm sure you have more of than me, but I mean, it's something in common. I was always telling my friends, like in Arabic, dua يدعو is invite. Dua, أنا أدعوك للمنزل.
Uh-huh.
I invite you home. So
Yes.
dua is translated prayer. It's not a prayer.
No.
Dua, I call Allah. I am calling Allah. Many things like that. Salah also. This is what attracted me mainly. Salat is sila, is
Yes.
a link.
That's right.
So how come salat it is? Yani why we don't look at it in Arabic that way? I give the mufassirin the benefit of not doubt, but the benefit of these terminologies became um, I don't know what's the word in English, but they become mustalah. Mustalah. It's like a definition. So
Hmm.
the real meaning changed from Arabic, the real Arabic, to the definition.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
for example, Assalamu alaikum, it's a greeting. It became a greeting, but the
Hmm.
real meaning is Assalam, peace. But we Arabs, we don't look at it as peace upon you. We look at it as hi.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because with time, many generations, we lost
Mm.
the meaning. We lost
Yeah.
the meaning.
Yeah.
Now when you hear it for the first time, you bring back the meaning to us. You learn us,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
you teach us our real language, because we
That's
lost it.
wonderful. That's justice.
We lost it. We lost it with the day-to-day operation.
Yeah, that happens. That happens in all languages. It's the same thing happened with the Jewish people. You know, they used to say Shalom Aleichem, which is the same thing, but now they don't greet each other at all, basically.
So now we need you to help us from this and return us back, return our
Yeah.
brain,
Yeah.
return.
Well, what it is, it's a return to what's called the fitrah. See, we're returning to the fitrah. You know, Allah says in the Quran, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Right? That we are the property of Allah. So you got to start there, understanding that we don't own anything. We belong to the source creator who created all of us. And it is to him that we are all constantly returning. So the return is not so much after you physically die, you know, the return happens all of the time in nature. Everything returns to
Yeah,
Allah, but you can return to Allah while you live. That's the best return. If you invested in some property, you don't want to wait until you die to get the return on your investment. You understand? Yeah, you don't
yeah,
go building properties and investing in schools and writing books like I do. You know, I have 23 books now, you know, which is amazing
mashallah,
in 3 years.
mashallah.
Alhamdulillah. Only Allah could do that.
Mashallah.
I look back and say, wow, where did all of this come from? You know, but it's an investment that I'm making when I choose to teach people like yourself or the people in my university online learning course. You know, I'm investing, but I don't want to wait until I die to get the returns. because when I get the returns, I can then use them to continue to spread, you know, the message and help other people's lives. So you're absolutely right. The entire Muslim world has gotten away from these core meanings for Quranic words. And that happened about, maybe 1,300 years or so ago when the Muslims invaded ancient Persia. And long story short, they began to swap out words because they put the Persians in charge of their education.
Mhm.
The Muslims won the battle, they won the war, they overtook Persia, but to expedite things, they chose to put the Persian mullahs in charge of the Muslim education of mostly Arabs at that time. So when they did that, the Persian mullahs who were their education was headlighted by rabbis. 20% of the Persian mullahs' uh, effort was being taught by Jewish rabbis. This is history that
When
a
did
lot
that
of
happen?
Muslims, this
Which century,
this
approximately?
happened, this happened in approximately the 8th going into the 9th, 10th, 11th. It happened in all of those centuries, beginning in the 8th
Mm,
century.
mm.
Yeah. So you can investigate that. You can, I can send some materials that I've discovered, and they're all out there. It's just that we're not pointed towards those materials, so we don't know about them. But if you ask the Jewish scholars, they know about them. They have some
Yeah,
very, very famous Jewish scholars who were in charge of Muslim education in Persia.
I won't doubt that, because when the Islamic civilization happened, it yani, spread very fast. And when the
Yes.
civilization spread, you are welcoming people from everywhere, and these people will influence. As
Yes.
you influence with them, you will interact with them, and you will take from them, and you will give to them, and things. So this is a natural development, I think.
Mhm.
It might be sometimes intentional to
Yeah.
change, but
Yeah,
but this is
that
this is
that effort was intentional because the Zoroastrians were very, very despondent. They were very angry at the Muslims for invading their
yeah.
civilization. They had a civilization that was thousands of years old, and here these new guys come and start telling us that we have to accept this Islam and we have to, do it this way and believe like that. And they didn't, they had their
There are
God
some
and
people till
they
now.
had
There are
their
some
leader.
people till now, till today. There are some people talking about this thing.
Yeah, because they're still angry. So because they were angry, now listen to this part. Because the Zoroastrians were very, very angry at the Muslims, but they lost the war, so they had to acquiesce. They decided to do something in cooperation with the munafiq amongst the Arab Muslims,
Yeah,
who themselves didn't want to be Muslims. They were only Muslims because of the triumph of al-Islam in Arabia. And they couldn't stay in Mecca unless they pledged, allegiance, so to speak, to al-Islam. So they became, and this is all in the Quran and all in the Sirah, it's all in the history, that when Muhammad came marching triumphantly back into Mecca, that he gave them an ultimatum. You can't stay here. This land is being declared for Muslims. So you either have to fight us, continue to fight us and lose as you've been doing, or you have to get out. You have to be put out of the homeland that you have shared as our brothers and cousins and uncles. These were the same people. So they
yeah,
knew that they couldn't win a war against the Muslims. The Muslims were too plentiful and too powerful. So they decided to take Shahada. Either Ja'a Nasrullahi wal Fath. That's the period we're talking about. When
mm,
the crowds came. But in those crowds, see, that's when the troubles began, because the crowds included hypocrites. The crowds included people who were faking like they wanted to accept the deen so that they could keep their homeland, stay in their homeland, keep their properties, say married to the people they were married to. And they went into a pact with the Zoroastrians, who were again despondent, and the ancient Arab hypocrites among the Muslims. made a pact with the Zoroastrians who were angry at the takeover of their land. And they said, we're going to do this in two ways. We're going to wait them out. We know we can't beat them. So we're going to wait them out and we're going to amalgamate into their society. And we're going to become the leaders and the teachers, the religious teachers, the mullahs of the Muslim population. And we're going to teach them their religion using our codes for language, because they had Farsi, you know, they had similar kinds of sounding words.
Yeah.
All right. They replaced the word as salat with namaz, a Sanskrit word, not even an Arabic word, right? And they did a whole lot of bait and switches in the language. So Iman became belief. It's not belief. They did a whole lot of switcheroos. You know, even the word Quran became the
What
word
is
for.
Iman? What is Iman?
We'll get into that in a minute. Let me finish my rant.
Okay.
We'll get back to that. That's a very important question.
Yeah, yeah.
So the point is, long story short, is that they took over the language like people would take over a land. And they began to foster the kind of growth on that land that they were typically used to feeding from. So those same words, the whole idea of even 5 salawat, that came from the Zoroastrians. They were doing that already at the very exact same times that Muslims, because the Muslim 5-time-a-day prayer didn't come from Al-Quran, it came from the Zoroastrians.
I heard that in your video. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's a
interesting.
fact. Yeah, it's a fact.
Interesting.
It's a fact.
It's
So
not in the Quran. It's only mentioned 3
yes, that's right.
prayers.
We have to now reacclimate back towards what the Quran is teaching and get away from all of this other stuff that has been introduced in the interim, beginning in Persia. See, not one hadith comes out of Arabia. It doesn't come out of Mecca, doesn't come out of Medina, doesn't come out of any of those places where the
Yeah,
deen began.
yeah, like Bukhara, for example. Bukhari is from Bukhara. He's from
Yeah,
that area, and he was born 180 years after the
after.
death of Rasul.
That's right.
So now today with WhatsApp, with everything instant, you cannot get an exact information about something happening 1,000,
Yeah.
1,000 mile away. So
No.
how he was getting accurate, 100% accurate text?
Yeah.
Okay, 100 years back.
He had his own Instagram, I guess. You
Yeah.
know?
And that's 100 years, 180 years back. You cannot
Yeah.
be sure a
And
person say
by hearsay.
by hearsay.
Now,
There's
what
no
court do you
recording.
know of? What court do you know of where you could walk in and start testifying based on what you heard? No court in the world would accept that. You have to have been an eyewitness.
Yeah, exactly.
You're dealing with
Exactly.
issues of life and death. You have to have been there and say, I pledge that, or I confirm that I was there when this happened. I saw it. This is my perspective. And then you go from
Exactly.
there. But you can't say that my uncle told me.
Someone told him
Yeah, he can be as nice
that
as he
that
wants
someone told.
to. Your uncle can be as nice as
No,
he wants to.
my uncle told me that someone told him that.
Your
So
uncle could be, look at the problems that Joe Biden is having with his memory and of things
yeah,
that happened in his own one lifetime, just in his 80 years or so of being alive.
and he's the
He might
president
be
of the most
sincere.
powerful country.
Yeah, he might be sincere telling you about it, but it doesn't mean, you know, his family knows, well, Joe, that didn't happen. But he still, after they proved that it didn't happen, he still says, this is what happened. I met this person. This is how we got married. Yeah. So one person's mentation can become defective. Can you imagine over a period of 150 years, 200 years, when these things began to become popularized as so-called hadiths? And even the word hadith, you know what the word hadith means in the Quran. Well, they
Yeah,
hijacked it. They hijacked the word that people, that Muslims now are saying, oh, the hadith, the Bukhari Muslim. Those are not hadith. Those are the tales of men. Hadith is the word of Allah. He calls the Quran Ahsanul Hadith. So, so why are we giving preference to the man making the man-made hadith when Allah tells us very clearly in the Quran that his is Ahsanul Hadith? So
Yeah, now
why are
listening to
we
you,
prioritizing what men wrote? And
yeah, listening,
their versions of the same story differ.
yeah. Now listening to you, it's like I am learning Arabic again.
You are, but you're learning it based on the fitrah. You're not learning it based on the scholar this time. So you're not learning it based on whoever is the most popular Arabic speaker in the region, or the people who set up the schools, the madrasas to teach you the Arabic. I'm not teaching Arabic based on any of the scholars. I reference them, but I don't teach them because that's not what the Quran says when it mentions Arabian Mubin. It's not mentioning any scholars. It's not pointing to any schools of thought. It's not pointing to any sects. This is the Muslim Buhairi, or this is the whatever Sunni Shia. That's not what the Quran is talking about. Doesn't mention
True,
anything
true,
about any. Well, what no Sunnis and Shia
true.
in
It's
Muhammad's
all
lifetime?
to me, it's all political movements that use the religion to
Yeah,
to to do their, what they want to do.
yeah, to do their dirty dealing, because it's
Yes,
not
yes,
just political. It's what comes before the political, and that's the economic. It's still happening today in our American government. It's happening as we speak with the whole, who's
true,
going to be
true, true,
president
true,
hoax,
true.
right? So it's first and foremost. See, here's what we need to understand: that politics, they even gave that the wrong name. It originally was called the government. I don't get involved in politics, but I'm obligated to get involved in what government is supposed to be. And government simply represents the governing over the mental. Government. You're supposed to be governing the things that are coming into your mind as ideas, how to properly place those ideas. Politics is a pole. Politics. And a pole is a means of dividing. There's the North Pole, there's the South Pole. They're always divided. Poles, when they take a poll, they're trying to show you the divisions in how people think about a political leader or a political decision or something. So the word poll is not the word that we're saying. See, this language game has been going on forever amongst human beings, but it stepped up to tempo when the Quran was revealed, because the Quran represents the premier way of expressing language, but language from Allah's fitrah, not language from the scholars. The scholars have to learn the language of the fitrah in order to learn the true Quran, because the true Quran is not even, it's not even a physical book, as you know. That's the mushaf, the suhuf, pages, purified pages. But the Quran is a frequency. The Quran is sonic. It's not visible. It's not an in your hands kind of book. We keep saying we're reading the Quran, but in order to read the Quran, you have to learn how to read the frequencies of nature. That's the true Quran, the grand Quran, Al Quran Al Azim. It's not this book in your hand. If all of the oceans were ink, Allah says, and all of the trees were pens in which to write, you could never exhaust the kalam of Allah. You could never exhaust that body of information. So if that's true, and we know it's true because Allah said it, then how can the Quran be the 6,600 verse book, physical book? It has limits on the amount of information, but the connections that that book is making in its logic, the connections that it is making with the fitrah, it's like the Quran is like almost like the table of contents, but the creation is the actual book, because you have to go to what Allah's speaking about here. If he's speaking about all of the trees being pens, Now your homework is to go study what a tree is in nature. You can put the book down for a minute and say, no, let's talking about the shajara. Let's see. Let's see what that is. Now you go study the tree. How did the tree get there? Seeds. How did the tree grow? See? Roots, tap roots, then roots above the surface, then wood, bark, branches, leaves, fruit. All of those things mean something. But Allah didn't have to put each one of those steps in the Quran. He didn't have to say, plant the seed in the soil, and the soil has to be moist, and and the conditions and the environment have to be so right for that particular vegetable or that fruit to bear fruit. He didn't have to put all of that. He trusted the human aql that he created to be curious enough to go investigate. Now, let me give you the example in the word iman that we were about to talk about, that they mistranslate as belief. You know, here in America, most of the people profess Christianity. And the people who are Christians, on the most part, are the ones who accept a religion that allows them to believe in a Santa Claus during Christmas, Christmas, right? So how did Santa Claus get into the teachings of Jesus the Christ? Jesus never spoke anything about Santa Claus and the reindeer, arriving on your snow-filled roof and coming down the chimney and providing gifts for all of the, Jesus. As far as I know, I read the Bible a few times. I don't see any Santa Claus. So
Yeah.
that's how they hoodwink us, by swapping out ideas, and then they want to make sure that your children get that conditioning. After that, they really don't care about what you believe as an adult. You can stop believing it, or leave religion altogether, as long as they got your children's attention, and that's what they're doing today. See?
Mm.
So Santa
Iman.
Claus. Hmm?
So Iman, we were talking about Iman, yeah.
Yeah, we're still there. We're still there. Follow my trail. So Iman, if I say I believe in Santa Claus, that's where I was going with that. That's a belief.
Mm. Mm.
It doesn't mean that the belief is true or real.
Mm.
I can believe that my father is the strongest man on earth. I used to believe that when I was a little boy, because he had nice muscles, and he used to do construction, and I thought that
Mm.
I don't have to worry about anybody coming and messing with my mother or messing around with all my siblings, because my father could beat them up. I believed that,
Yeah,
but it doesn't mean it was true.
true.
Right? So
Yeah.
Allah does not ask us to have belief. Belief is
Yeah.
weak. He asks us to have faith. There's a difference. So
Mm-hmm.
as a Muslim or as a mu'min, I'm one of the faithful. I'm not one of the believers, because beliefs can change like you change your socks and underwear. Every day you can have a new belief. I went
Yeah.
to school with a guy who he was Christian one day. He took Shahada the next month, and then the next year he was a Buddhist. So his beliefs kept changing, because beliefs are the lowest level of what your soul invests in as information.
What is believe
Babies,
in Arabic?
there
Do
is
you
no,
know? Okay.
no. Allah does not use the word belief for what he's
Maybe تصديق,
establishing.
تصديق.
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah. It's so tenuous. It's so iffy as to what you
Yeah.
mean when you say you believe in something, because you can actually change your belief in a moment's notice.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You understand? I
Not
believe,
rigid. Not.
yeah, there's nothing rigid. There's nothing stable about this idea of belief. Belief is a Western concept. It's a Western religious concept that they use to
Mm.
pull the wool over the eyes of Western religion, people in Western religion. There's no such word.
Yeah.
That's the first
Okay.
thing. Now, Iman is composed of the letters Alif, Mim, Nun, consonants. Alif, Mim, Nun, like Oman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Allah is teaching us.
True.
Allah is teaching us. So you have to look at the meanings for those individual letters. And each one of those letters can be found as a part of your human body. This is how Allah is teaching us. He's teaching us so that you don't have to totally depend on a person outside of you. Once you learn this method, it's called the NuNETICS method. Once you learn the method, that's called the NuNETICS method of identifying every consonant in the Arabic language as a part of your body system. Okay. Once you do that, then once you can identify that Aleph is the spine, then all you have to do is study what the spine does as a verb, as an action word.
Mm-hmm.
What is it actually doing? It's holding up the integrity of the body. It's allowing your body to remain upright. It also allows your body to have some flexibility. You can bend over, but your basic posture is not based on you bending over like other animals that bend over all of the time. The human doesn't walk around bending over all of, unless you're doing planting seeds or reaping. Then you bend over for as long as it takes to get the product. Then you're back to your upright posture. They say at one time in history, human beings used to be bent over like apes or bent over like animals, dogs walking on all four. I don't know. I wasn't there. I can't verify that. But I do know that if that were the case, we eventually learn to walk upright. And that would be an ayat from Allah. Just on understanding that that might have been the case. But when the human being was crawling around like an animal or, hopping around like a monkey or an ape or a rabbit or something, whatever we were doing, that wasn't a period for growth and development for the human being. We were what the common animal was. And there's a very good reason for that, because we still did not have access to the most precious creation that Allah has deposited within the human, and that's the mind. We didn't have access to it because we were too busy doing what animals do. And animals are based mostly on survival, how to survive in the environment that they were put in. So they're always on the lookout for the enemy. They're always on the lookout for the other group of animals that might overtake, like the deer in the forest. He's always looking out. She's always looking out for the lioness. She knows she's out there, so the little deer's ear will, when it hears any kind of noise that it's not used to, that kind of thing, because those animals are stuck in their lowest level of what the Indian people would call their chakric energy table. They're stuck in survival. They're stuck in survival, and they're stuck in emotions. But they had not graduated as animals to activate the akal, the intellect. That only
Yeah.
happens when these hands and feet become free. If we were crawling around and we eventually learned to kind of stand up and get our balance, right? Now these become free. See, to build, to explore. They weren't free when we were using them as pedals, as animal feet, animal hands. They weren't free. But as soon as we stood up, they became free. And we began to look at all of the many things that we could do with these hands. These hands are what built the world. The animals have not built the world. The bird's nest, as beautiful as we might think it is, it's the same bird's nest from 1,000,000 years ago. There's no condo in the world of building birds' nests. There's no Empire State Building amongst the birds that they eventually built. That nest on that tree right now is the same nest that was there 1,000,000 years ago. Same exact construction, because they
True.
don't have that kind of evolutionary push that humans have due to Allah giving us an activated intellect. It's the intellect that freed us.
What does NuNETICS means?
What does what? I'm sorry.
NuNETICS.
NuNETICS?
NuNETICS. Yeah, how do you pronounce the NuNETICS?
I'm not understanding the word.
the name of your
Oh, NuNETICS.
organization?
Oh, okay. Yeah,
NuNETICS,
NuNETICS.
NuNETICS, yeah.
Yeah, that one
Yeah,
right there. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. What does
yeah.
it mean?
It's based on the Arabic letter nun,
Noon?
the letter N,
Yeah, noon.
and I added the suffix
NuNETICS.
NuNETICS.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What it means is that um every letter is a seed. That's what the word noon means. That's one of the meanings. Seed has many meanings or several meanings. So I took the name seed, and I did that because the letter N in several languages means seed. The Hebrew language, the Greek language, it means seed.
Interesting.
Um, yeah,
Very interesting.
yeah. So what I'm saying is that every letter, not just the letter noon, but every letter in every alphabet in the world. See, if it's in the Fitrah, it's got to be everywhere. It can't be just in Oman or Persia,
Mm.
Iran. It just can't be in one place. It has to be true everywhere to be truth from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what is a seed? A seed is considered to be dead until it is planted in the proper environment that is conducive for life. The life is dormant. It's there, but it's laying dormant, like all life forms do before they're given activation. The sperm is dormant. The
By
ovum.
the way, it's very strange, you know. It's
Mm,
very strange. Maybe 2 weeks back, I was looking for the word noon, the
yeah,
meaning of noon. And
yeah,
now it came to my mind. I was
yeah.
searching in it. I was just searching about it, searching the meaning, and I had some scenario in my mind. It's
Mhm.
very strange now how things are. You know, what's
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
What's this?
See, the seed is
No,
activated
no, no. I mean,
by,
what's this happening to me?
oh, I'm
That
telling you
I
what's
thought
happening
about
to
the.
you. You were chosen by Allah.
Wallah, inshallah, I hope so.
You were
I really
chosen by
hope.
Allah, but not like the Jews think they're chosen. Not that kind of chosen people. We're not that kind of chosen people, right? We live and we die. We come and we go, but we make our contributions because of this magnificent human form, this human constitution. See, I've been teaching, I did a 4-part series on the human constitution. It's on YouTube now. 4
Mhm.
parts.
Human constitution.
Yes, it's on YouTube. So make sure that you subscribe, that you like and subscribe on YouTube.
The thing is
Okay.
that most of your videos are very lengthy, very long,
Yeah,
and
but
I cannot.
here's what people do. They get stuck on the length. They say, "Oh, it's 4 hours. I can't look at 4 hours. It's 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I have to go to work." Listen, just divide it up. Say, I'm gonna listen to 15 minutes today.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And see, I'm gonna tell you how to get the benefit out of it. Say, I'm gonna listen to 15 minutes today while taking notes.
Mm,
I'm not just going to look at it like, it's a movie or, it's just some regular lecture, because it's not. Every single
true.
one of my videos, Allah has blessed me to bring multiple ideas, multiple layers of deep information, not surface. I'm not talking surface talk. So a lot of it goes above people's heads, but that's only because they don't know how to study. And I can't dumb down my information to fit their limitations. I tell them all of the time, this is not entertainment. This is for purposes of inner attainment. Inner
True.
attainment. See? So we've been talking for, about, wow, 40 minutes already. So if a person stops the tape right now, if they're listening to it, and just take notes on everything we've said so far, what I've told you about Aleph or whatever, I didn't complete anything yet. But just take what I did say and then you go investigate what I said so that you can verify what I'm saying in terms of the meanings of these things.
I don't need to investigate and I don't need to verify because I am so much aligned with what are you saying. And
Yeah.
I've been doing this for the last 4 years. And whenever you say something, it's just fascinating me on how you are confirming or you are adding validity and you are opening I don't know, but
Portal. It's a portal.
new portals in my head, you know. So I think I don't know how many hours I will need to sit with you, but I think
You'll have to sit the rest of your life with me,
yeah, I think I
or
need to
with
do
people who
that.
think and can teach like me. Because I got a lot of people coming in about another couple of months who can teach enough to satisfy what you're looking for. They don't have to know
Okay,
everything I know. They just have to know what they know that I've taught
okay.
them. Yeah.
I am
Right.
sorry that I interrupted you a lot,
No, it's
but
okay. I want to at least finish Iman because I have another webinar at 12 in about uh
okay.
yeah, in about another 20 minutes I have another webinar behind this one, but I want to complete what I'm saying about Iman so you can get the accurate picture of how these words are developed.
Mhm,
Um you have the aleph, you have the spine,
mhm,
you think about all of the things that that part of the body does, and then you apply those meanings, those actions to the word that Allah includes that letter in within the Mus'haf. Like Iman, you include the meaning for Aleph in the word Iman, especially if the letter Aleph is at the beginning of the word as it is in the word Iman. And you say the spine is responsible for us remaining upright. Now you can easily make the link between being upright physically with being upright socially and spiritually and morally, ethically. Those are all positions that have uprightness attached to them also, but they're not physical, like the spine is physical. They are metaphors, they are metaphysical, they are beyond physical. Some of them represent emotions that you have. If I say, man, he was really hot with you, doesn't mean that if you touched him, he's got 110 temperature. If you say man, he was really hot at you, man, you know what that means. It's a metaphor.
yeah.
So humans use metaphors mostly to speak. Most of
Mm,
us cannot speak a single sentence without using some type of metaphor.
mm,
If you think about, but you have to be thinking about what you're thinking about to recognize that. That's something that a
yeah.
man named Dr. Joe Dispenza, he says that a lot.
Mm.
The human
Joe
being,
Dispenza, I saw his some of his videos. Yeah.
yeah, he's great. I'm going to be doing more and more on him. I hope to meet him one day and bring him into our class because he's a
That would be great.
brilliant thinker. Yeah. He says that the human being has been gifted with the ability to think about what we think about. No animal can do that as far as we know.
Mhm,
Not that animals
mm,
can't think, they can think and make decisions, but they can't think about what they're thinking about. They can't evaluate what they're thinking, how they came to that conclusion. They don't have logical processes to figure out how they came to that conclusion. Animals don't do that. Only humans do that. Right.
mhm,
So these concepts that the human being is based in are concepts that go above and beyond the physical, but they must begin with the physical. So we begin with an understanding of the physical spine. You study the different things and thank Allah for the blessings of the internet, where you can, at the touch of a button, you can bring up information from, you don't have to go to Harvard or Yale or any of those colleges and
mhm.
universities. You can sit right at home like we're doing and become a genius, right?
True.
So you have the upright position of the spine. You also have a spinal cord
Mm,
that's attached to the spine that's doing what? It's registering frequencies. Frequencies. It's registering everything that's coming into your five basic senses. It stops first at your nervous system. And it's your nervous system that registers how you feel about what you just saw or heard or touched or tasted or smelled. Those five basic senses. As soon as you sense something, it has to first stop at your spinal cord, in your nervous system, so that you can make an intelligent decision as to whether you should pursue what you just saw or felt or
is
tasted,
there
so
any
forth.
reference for this in Quran?
Oh, yeah, all over the place.
I'm surprised.
That'll be our next class. See, that's
Yeah.
why this way of teaching the Quran is a brand new way of teaching the Quran. It used to be taught, I believe, based on my study, that it used to be taught like that during the time of our prophet, and that the Muslims lost it. They lost
I
it.
believe there are many questions I have here, but we didn't, of course, the time is not enough. I'm
No.
learning a lot already.
Yeah.
But I believe there is a message. I believe you mentioned encoding one day, and I believe
Hmm.
it's somehow encoded, and you have to decode it
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
way or another.
Yes.
And Al-Fatiha, you talked about Al-Fatiha, and it is Al-Fatiha. It is opener for something,
Yeah.
not the book, not the physical book. No, it is something bigger.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
But you
so
find the basis for it in the physical book. I'm not saying that there's no need for the physical book. The physical book is giving you the initial instruction. It's like,
of course.
whatever you're going to build, you need a manual, or whatever. Or if you get a new washing machine or whatever, it comes with a manual.
Yeah, but I mean
Yeah.
Fatiha al-Kitab. I mean Al-Fatiha.
Yeah.
Al-Fatiha.
No, I understand. Yeah.
It's not the opener only for the book itself. It's an
Yeah.
opener
No, it's
for
to open up for the Aql. What the
yes,
Quran
yes.
is saying is really directed mostly towards the human being's ability to think, reason, make decisions, and then even go higher to make a connection with the source creator and that ultimate information that runs the cosmos.
Yeah. Now,
Allah consigned the entire cosmos, right, to become subservient to the human, not slaves. They are not the abd of us.
mhm,
They are the servants of Allah's will.
mhm,
So whatever is in the creation, electricity, magnetism, atoms, molecules, all of these things, they're not our slaves. They all
mhm,
work as slaves for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but Allah has commanded them to bend their service, render their services over to us as human beings. And that's how we come into the sciences. But how are we going to do that unless we actually study those things in the physical world to be able to cull out that information? That's what the learning of science is. That's what makes for human progress, because Allah designed the brain of the human being to be able to call those things out and then apply the logic of what we're learning to the project that we're working on. Even if that project is our marital relationships or our social relationships, we're still basing those relationships on things that we are studying in the fitrah. How do other creatures get along? Do other creatures have marriage ceremonies? We're constantly thinking like that.
mhm.
Why go to City Hall and get married when nothing else in creation goes to City Hall? Why go there to get a divorce and nothing else in creation is going to pay somebody to sit behind a desk as a judge and have them decide whether you and your wife should still be together?
Mm,
Nothing else in creation does that. So that means that that particular thing is anti-fitrah. So why am I
yeah,
involving myself in these anti-fitrah social relationships? See, that's how you know whether Allah approves. That's how you know whether I say Allah allows. The word allow, I believe, came from the word Allah, because Allah is the
mm,
one who allows. People say, how come bad things keep happening to me if there's a God? Because Allah allows. Why does Allah allow bad things to happen to me? Because he gave you a brain to be able to figure it out so the bad thing doesn't really have to happen. But because you are shutting off that one key, you're not using that one key that Allah allowed for you to be able to observe, to register, to feel one way or another about, and then go with the best inclinations. Go with the best. Allah, it tells us in the Quran to choose the best. He didn't say the worst wouldn't be there too. The worst is right there next to the best, but he gave you the ability to choose the best, choose the right road, choose the best guidance, right? So when we choose the best, we get the benefit. And Allah allows for, he favors the benefit, and he dampens down the responses that lead to bad consequences. It's not that bad consequences don't happen, but Allah always warns you. See, he gives us good news and warning. He always warns you before bad thing happens. But it depends on whether we're listening. Because it'll happen, and then later we'll say, oh, maybe that's what Allah was trying to tell me when I started messing around with that prostitute. You know, he's going to always tell, before you even get to the prostitute, as soon as the idea registers, Allah is sending you warnings. That's why he says in the Quran, and do not approach zina. He didn't just say, like the Bible, don't do it. He said, do not even, where do you approach it? Right here. So as soon as you approach it, your nervous system is going to go, it's going to start ringing. Because that's your human nervous system. That's the aleph. The thing that is keeping you upright is warning you. See, that's what makes this method, this NuNETICS method, so precious. That it is actually educating you into the fitrah. Well, how the fitrah of your body, the fitrah of society, the fitrah of your abstract ideas and concepts, how they're actually working in
what's
you and
the
working
method?
for
The
you.
method is a way of learning, or what exactly? The method.
Yeah, the method is a way of observing creation. Yeah, you have to observe creation before you can learn anything. So the letter lam, the L sound, means learning and teaching. That's what it means. As a part of your body, the letter lam is your tongue. That's why it's used for the word lisan. You see? Yeah, it's your tongue. When you think about what your tongue does two essential things. It tastes things, it takes things into the body, but it also can give out things such as information. Your tongue, you need your tongue to get to teach, to give information. When you take in mentally, it's called learning. When you give out from what you've learned already, it's called teaching. So the letter lam came to represent teaching and learning. That's what the letter lam is as a part of your fitrah body, your tongue. The tongue also discriminates. It discriminates. It says, this is too hot. I can't eat this right now. It has to cool off. Or this is too spicy. Or it's too sweet. Why can't you put some more water in that Kool-Aid? It's too sweet. See, your tongue is discriminating. And sometimes if it gets past your vision says, oh, that looks so good. That cake he just baked. That looks so good. Let me get a piece of that. And you're just talking and you're not thinking and all of that. And whoever made the cake, it was their first time making cake. And it was just terrible. It was nasty. But you didn't know it was nasty while you were looking at it. You had to experience it, right? So it goes past the vision. The security guards in the eyes couldn't catch it. But the security guard on the tongue, these are all security guards working for you. The security guards on the tongue, they caught it. They said, wow. Because it's comparing it to other things that it did like that would had a little sweetness to it. But this here, if I drink this, it's gonna kill me. Like the first time people drink alcohol. How do you learn to get used to drinking something that as soon as you taste it, it's like, oh, like rum and, vodka, the first time you tasted when you were 12 and snuck some of it, from your father's, cabinet, you were like, but something or somebody in your environment kept encouraging it. They said, take a little at a time. Take a little just for your stomach's sake, And before you know it, you're walking around as a 14-year-old alcoholic because you were able to get past those security guards. So that's all a part of what lamb is doing. Lamb is, if you look at the pictures of the old shepherds, or, you may be in a place where they still have people who do shepherding and sheep and cows and all of that. All right, so the way they command those animals is with their shepherd's staff, the little hook. That's your tongue. That hook, when a sheep is going in the wrong direction, the shepherd will take the hook end and wrap it around the sheep's neck and pull it out of danger. That's what your language does. That's what your words do. Hey, don't do that. Hey, that's dangerous. talking to your children, get away from that knife, put that knife down. You know, your 5-year-old, you don't know. So your voice, your words, your language through your tongue is warning that person. And if they're doing the right thing, then your tongue is used to encourage them to keep going in that direction. That's the straight end of the staff. You take the hook in your hand then, and then you point the way to safety. So you point the way to progress. So the shepherd, that's the shepherd's job. That's why they paint the prophets out as being shepherds. You see Jesus,
True.
they got a shepherd, they got a hook in his hand. Moses has a hook in his hand. Abraham has a hook. What, were all of these people crippled that they needed a cane? No, they used it to command the sheep, the lower animals. So it's the same thing with the human being. When we're trying to figure out what to do with all of these lower thoughts, how to get married, how to grow up in a community of people, how to solve a discrepancy or some problem that I'm having with somebody at school or whatever. Those are lower thoughts, thoughts that Allah let us manage. You don't need scripture for that. You don't need a Quran to figure out how to get along with the guy in school. You know, these are lower thoughts. And there's a shepherd in you that is constantly bringing in information in order to give you better guidance as to how to deal with your social matters. So it's not just the physical level of the tongue, it's also the social level of giving guidance, giving advice, giving warning to people, don't do that, and giving encouragement to people to
Yeah.
continue walking in the right direction.
We have 2 more minutes, so I don't want to
Yes,
take your time. You have another
I can't wait to do
interview.
this again. Yeah,
Yes,
you let me know.
I really want to ask you, what is my next step now?
Your next step is to join the class.
Okay. Which is, I saw there is an academy, university, and I don't
Yeah, it's
know.
university online learning course.
So what's the best thing for me?
Yeah, the best thing is to go to the website. I don't know how your economics are on your side. The only country I've ever had a problem with is Pakistan, with people
You mean
sending
for payment,
for
processing
payment.
payment and
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah.
No, I
That's
don't have a problem on that.
okay. So you do that. You pay the problem there. Now, what that does is it allows you to continue having these kinds of discussions for no charge at all.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you can join the class. The class is one class a week, and normally it's on a Sunday, whatever your time thing is there. It's Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I am. If that time doesn't suit where you are, then understand that there will always be a recorded replay available immediately after the class is over. It'll appear in your email box.
And this is a group session, right?
That's the group session, right? Now you can also ask questions during the group session. But the group session is going to be giving you those 15,000-hour lectures that you were talking about.
Yeah, but see, I have lots of topics that I want to discuss with you one to one.
You do that. You use the majority of your time being a class member to do that.
Okay,
To have one-on-ones. There are some people who almost are strictly one-on-ones. They don't really have time, or they're not really interested in the bigger class. And they're not interested in the bigger class because they think they're going to keep finding them on YouTube, but they're not. I'm going to be cutting out all of the bigger classes in about another 3 weeks.
okay,
You'll only be able to get 5 to 10 to 15 minutes of YouTube shorts dealing with one topic. Like if I break down the word Iman, you'll get 15 minutes of what Iman means, and that's it. I won't talk about anything else. So that's what YouTube is about to turn into. So you want to take advantage of being in the broader classes so that you can get the bulk of information that you can go to in your own time and say, yeah, this is a 2-hour interview lecture, but I'm going to break it down into 30 minutes.
okay. For now, thank you very much. I'll meet you
Yes,
again
yes,
because of your time. And I didn't receive the link for the payment for this
yeah.
lecture.
It's at the website. Just give through the donations box,
Donations. Okay,
nuneticsinstitute.org.
okay.
Yeah. All
I'll
right.
do that.
Yeah. I knew that you
Okay.
hadn't received it. I was just being
I didn't,
gracious.
yeah,
Yeah.
because
So
in the, yeah.
nuneticsinstitute.org.
Okay, yeah, I
ORG.
got the website.
Yeah. So when you go
Yeah.
there, you have to do it through the donations tab.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll say one-on-one. It's there if you look for it. You know, one-on-one sessions.
Okay.
There are 30-minute sessions and 60-minute sessions. You'll see it if you go back there and take your time and scroll down. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm redoing the whole website. It's going to be a totally new looking website in another couple of weeks. So, but right
Great.
now you can do it by just scrolling down. You'll see a tab there that says join the
101.
class. It'll say join the class. Yeah, it'll one will say one-on-one. The other one will say join the class, and it'll tell you what the cost is for that, and you can send it through that tab or through that portal, and you'll be
Okay.
straight. You'll be good.
I'll be doing that.
Okay. And I'm
Okay.
looking forward to having, and I don't say this to everybody, but I'm looking forward to having plenty of classes, plenty of one-on-ones with you,
I
because
really,
I already see you in my mind's eye as being one of the premier presenters of this NuNETICS method.
thank you very much. Thank you. I really feel that I am going to learn a lot, and I really thank God and thank you that I found you, because I think this is the path that I was looking for in the last 4 years, and I landed up here. I think it's not random. I think this is what I was looking for.
No, Allah sent you here, and it's is to thank Allah is enough. You don't have to even thank me, but to thank Allah is thanking me.
Thank you very much. I already took 2 minutes
All
from
right.
the.
It's okay.
Thank you.
He's waiting for me. He's waiting to get in, my next
Yeah.
guy. All
Take
right.
care. Have a nice day.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon,
Thank you.
inshallah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Bye
sir.
bye.
Okay.